Hello, pupils. How are you all doing? Hope you're all fine and healthy. All right. Hope you are staying safe and healthy likewise. Please ensure to always go by the rules and regulation of medical practitioners, to always wash your hands regularly with soap and water, and likewise to use an alcohol-based sanitizer in the absence of soap and water. I remain my humble self, Mr. Olakwade. I'm once again welcoming you all to this wonderful virtual teaching learning process. And the subject we are going to be doing justice to right now is home economics. Before we move into our wonderful topic, I would like us to quickly go to what we did in the last class, or the last session rather. Last session we discussed the disease of farm animals, and also, and before then we spoke on how we can take care of our young farm animals. That also good. Please remember, I told us that disease are those things that affect the structure and the body systems of our animals. Is that taken out? And they are not good for them because it brings about economical loss. That is loss of money. Because when your animal, when they die, that is loss of money for you. Is that taken out? So ensure to always take care of your animals by observing and always giving them medication as at when due. Is that taken out? Good. Now, the topic we are going to be doing justice to under my economics for this section is benefits of farming. Yes, this is going to be very interesting. It promises to be interesting. Benefits of farming. Why do we farm? Why do you even take O and say, Mommy, I want to go to farm? Most of us might not even know the benefits that is attached to farming because we've never done one. We've never done it before. It's just a pity that when we were growing up, the work or the most popular work then that youth embark on was agriculture. But now we have so many of these work available to people now that people have forgotten about agriculture. Even Nigeria as a whole have forgotten about it. It's just a pity. But I pray God will open our eye to the importance of farming again. Now, let's look at the lesson's objective, which says at the end of the lesson, the pupils should be able to A, define farming. That is, what is farming? What is farming? The second one says list and explain the benefits of farming. Why do we go into farming? Why must we farm? Why do we have to go back to our farmland? These and many more are what we're going to be looking at during the course of this session. Now, the subject matter, what is farming? What is farming? According to what we have here, it says farming is the act or process of working the ground, planting seeds, and growing edible plants. You can also describe raising animals for milk or meat as farming. Do you hear that? Good. But as far as I'm concerned, personally speaking, and I want you to all know that farming in a nutshell is the cultivation of land, that is the planting of crops and the rearing of animals. Should I come again? Good. Planting is the farming is the planting of crops and the rearing of what? Of livestock, that is the rearing of animals. Is that taken out? That is a very simple and precise definition of farming. It is the planting of crops and the rearing of animal. Is that understood? Good. That is farming. If I ask you an exam, if you see that in exam, please do justice to it. I trust you. I know you are brilliant. Farming is the planting of crops and the rearing of animals. Good. Now, what are the benefits of farming? The benefits of what? Of farming. The first one says, farming serves as what? As a source of livelihood. That is, sources of livelihood. Agriculture is important as a business of livelihood. Without it, our existence will not have been possible. In Nigeria, the main occupation of many is agriculture. See, this is just the abstract truth. To be frank with you, this is the most important function of what? Of farming. That is serving as a what? As a source of livelihood. Without farming, we cannot survive. Take it or leave it. I can remember there was a time I was involved in a debate during my higher institution days. I was supposed to oppose the motion that says a doctor is better than a farmer. We eventually won the debate. And as the chief speaker, one of my most important points, which I put to my co-debaters, was that as a doctor, I put it to him that as a doctor, you are not as important as a farmer. Because in life, first things first. You have to attend to the first things. Take for instance, I can live for more than 1 year without needing the assistance of a doctor. Are you aware of that? I can live for a year without needing the assistance of a doctor, without falling. It is when I fall sick that I can see a doctor, or if anything happens like accident, that you see a doctor. When you are not involved in any form of accident, when you don't fall sick, you don't need to see a doctor. When you are healthy, is that taken out? But as a farmer, you cannot do without a farmer for a week because you must consume their product. Can you go a day without eating? So if you cannot go a day without eating, that means you cannot do without what? Without farmer or without farming. Because the food you consume every day is gotten from what? From agriculture, from farming. Is that taken out? That's to tell you that agriculture, farming is what makes us what? To exist. Farming is what is the source of our livelihood. Without it, our existence will not have been possible. Is that understood now? We have people who can fast for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. But I bet it with you. Nobody can go 6 months without eating. Even 1 month. Can you go 1 month without eating? I bet it. You cannot. You cannot. Even the most spiritual of people, all those spiritual men of God and women of God, I don't think it is possible for them to go 6 months without eating, because food is very, very important to the existence of man. Is that taken out? So just take note of that. The first point is that it is the source of all of livelihood. Is that taken out? Because we need it. People survive on it. Is that taken? Good. Number 2 says farming brings poverty reduction. Farming brings poverty reduction. Do not forget that in Nigeria is, so to say, a very poor country where vast majority of the people living in Nigeria are poor. Is that also living in poverty? Now, the best way to reduce poverty is what? Is to go into farming. We have people who have made it through farming. Maybe you don't know. Let me just tell it to you now. People have made it through what? Through farming. The likes of Dangote is a farmer. You are laughing. You don't believe. He is a farmer. Go and Google search it. You can do your findings. Dangote is a farmer. The Obasanjo we know today, the former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, is likewise a farmer. Up to now, he's still farming. He even has one of the biggest farmland in Ota, where they produce egg in large scales. So they are farmers. So this farming reduces what? Reduces poverty. Because people who go into it are rich. They have money. Is that taken out? Good. The third one is that it brings about employment opportunities. That is, it brings about opportunity for people to be employed. You have youth. You know, maybe you don't know. Everybody cannot work in bank. Is it possible for everybody to work in bank? No. Can anybody become doctor? No. Not everybody will work as teachers. No. Not everybody will likewise be a pilot, be a lawyer, be a soldier. So as a result, people have to go into farming. That is where the opportunity comes. Farming is so big, agriculture is so big that it can employ as many as possible. As many as possible, different people of different ages can go into farming to work, to earn a living. Is that taken out? So agriculture will serve as what? As employment opportunities. You see people working on this farmland, they are working to earn a living because there's no job in the bank, there's no job in schools to teach, there's no job anywhere. So you have to go back to farm, to what? To go back to what? To farm. This farm business have been able to what? To employ thousands of people over the years. In short, there was a time in Nigeria that over 80% of Nigerians were farmers. Yes. There was a time in Nigeria that I say 80%, even more than 90% of Nigerians were a time that we are all farmers. But thank God for civilization. Civilization has brought in so many other jobs, office jobs now and then. Nobody wants to go to farm again. But I bet it with you, before long, we come back to this farming because it is very, very important. It is what very, very, very important to our economy. We will come back to farming. Everybody will come back to farming. I don't want to know how we are to do it. But the time will come that when the food scarcity, there will be scarcity of food, people will start going back to farm. So at the back of your house, you start developing farmland. You use the back of your house as a farmland, where you start planting vegetables, pepper, onions, what's it called? Okra, and other local foods. It is very, very important. Is that taken out? Another thing is that farming is a source of what? Of raw materials. That is, farming as sources of raw materials. Is a source of what? Of raw material. Leading manufacturing companies such as sugar manufacturers, cotton and textile companies depend on raw materials from agricultural produce. That is, when you go into farming, farming helps for what? For us to get so many raw materials. So many manufacturing companies go to farm to what? To get their raw materials like cottons for making textiles. Is that taken out? They get even sugarcane. You can see from the picture you have here, see sugarcane in making sugar. So companies come to what? To get all these things. To what? To manufacture their products. Without farming, it would not have been possible for them to what? To be able to manufacture all these products. So it is farming that made it possible for them to what? To be able to manufacture their products. They come with all these their big vehicles to what? To pack those raw materials, and before you know it, they go back to their factories or to their companies to refine these things and turn it into what? Into finished goods, which we in turn what? Buy from them. Is that taken out? So farming is a source of what? Of raw materials. Farming is what? Is a source of raw materials. Is that understood? Good. Now, the last but not the least, under the importance or benefits of farming is that it serves as income generation. That is income generation, sources of international trade. It brings income. Is that taken out? We get a lot of income through what? Through farming as a country now. Now I'm referring to us as a country now. That is, farming has been able to help Nigeria to export so many products. So many of our products have been exported to other countries, and in return we get money. Is that taking now? We have even farmers, even leaving the country aside now, we have farmers who produce in large scale and sell outside. They send their product outside of the country. They export their farm goods outside of the country. He said agricultural produce act as income generator for government. Agricultural produce like sugar, tea, you can see sugar, tea, rice, spices, tobacco, coffee, etc. constitute the major items of export of countries that rely on agriculture. So Nigeria as an exporting nation, even though to a large extent we have now become an importing nation instead of exporting nation, because any nation that imports more than export, that nation is not going to develop. Before we used to export all of these things, tobacco, coffee, rice, tea, but now we are not exporting again, we are even importing. That's to tell you that Nigeria is now becoming worse. It is not good. So these farm produce are what are sent out. This is a diagram of yam that can be sold out to other countries. This is garlic. You can see in the picture. That taking now. So these are some of the things that we sell out. We sell out all these things to make money. This is cashew nuts. Is that taking now? We sell all these things. We sell them out to make money. We serve as what? As income. That's why you call it income generation. Is that taking now? Source of international trade. We trade with other countries, sending our produce, our farm produce to them and giving us money in return. Is that taking? Good. Please, I hope you understood what the benefits of farming we've been discussing during the course of this session. I hope you understood what we've been discussing about the benefits of farming. Somebody says farming is life, as without it, nobody can survive. Farming is life, as without it, nobody can survive. This is a quote by me. Farming is life, as without it, nobody can survive. You cannot survive without farming. We cannot survive without food. In as much as we cannot survive without food, therefore, farming is life. Is that taken out? Good. Now let's look into some of the questions we have here. The first one says, what is farming? So those in a simple term, farming is a planting of crops and the rearing of animals. Second one says, mention and explain 3 benefits of farming. What are the benefits of farming? We made mention of so many of them. Just mention 3 and you are good to go. Please, I want you all to know that it is very, very important for you all to always study hard because your exams are right by the corner. And ensure also to keep yourself safe. Avoid social gathering. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water. Likewise, use an alcohol-based sanitizer. God bless you as you do so. I remain my humble self, Mr. Olapade Olalekan Moses. Bye, till we meet again.